So I don't think it's very difficult to notice the imagery that is shown in common with both the Women King poster and the Wakanda Forever poster. So there are several posters, but if you see most of the posters, you're not seeing long flowing dresses or soft girl era. You're kind of seeing the warrior image in both Wakanda Forever, and you're seeing it also in Women King. So there's several images, but most of the images prominently show, I don't want to use masculine, but strong women in the pictures, right? So we see, even with the matriarchal queen in the middle, and in the Women King, we see with the swords, they show the sword. So clearly, if you're paying attention, there's some kind of commonality with both of these movies coming out back to back. And so I got to thinking about what might be the commonality that's driving this kind of new marketing to this warrior-like, strong, black woman, I suppose. And so I decided to just, I wanted to do some data looking. And so I went to the Census site and I actually scrolled down to, these are historical tables, and I downloaded this table here, which is percent of never married women who are mothers by race. Okay. And I was just curious to see what kind of breakdown would we get looking at that. And so I'm going to show you what kind of numbers I kind of found, and it came much to my surprise, and it's going to have a impact on the reason why I think both of these movies were released in succession, and I think it's 2 months apart, if you will, and also with Black Panther having the beloved T'Challa character not being recast. There are a lot of people who took issue with that, but I think these numbers are going to point to something that might have a play in that. And so these are the raw numbers, and it's quite a bit, but it goes by total number of never married women, never married mothers, and percent of never married mothers, going from 15 to 44. And this is over about a 15-year period from 2004 to 2018. Okay, and so I simplify these numbers. So the blue number is going to be just white alone, and then white non-Hispanic. So I'm guessing that white alone is including Hispanic, and white alone non-Hispanic is only white, and then there's the gray line for black, and then there's the yellow line for Asian. And so again, these are just raw numbers, but when we break them down in the graphs, we can see that in all categories, we're seeing a rise in never married women. So this is just a trend that's, that is not unique to the Western world, but we can see certainly for these white women alone, it's rising rather sharply. And we can see for, white non-Hispanic women is rising. White alone non-Hispanic is rising relatively fast. And then, but all of them are rising. Even the Asian number is rising almost to double from 1,092,000 to almost 2 million. And for black women, it's 5.3 million or 3.35 million to almost 6.6-ish million. Okay. And so this is the number of women that have never married. Okay. And so this next chart was the number of mothers that had never married. So this is not counting divorced mothers or married mothers. These are just the number of women that had children and had never been married. And so you see the line for white women, and it rises. I think it peaks at 45 or 4,520,000, and then you kind of see it on the decline. But you see the orange is kind of is vacillating up and down, but you see the gray line for black women alone, and you see that this not only is we'll see the percentages in the next frame, but you see that the raw number is increasing. So you start at 2.2 million in 2004, and you add another, what is that, 20, you're adding almost 700,000 never married mothers over a course of 14 years. And this is the chart that really surprised me, because this made me reconsider what maybe the reason why these movies were released in succession. And so you look at the percent of never married mothers, and these are not single mothers. This is not just single mothers. These are mothers who have never married. They've never been married in a marriage with a man. These are only women who have had children. Okay, and you can see that 42% for Black women, and for the entire duration, it's over 40% for the entire time, right? And so you see that there's oscillation with the blue bar, which is white alone. But you can see that even if you add the other three numbers together, even though there's overlap with white women and white alone and white Hispanic, that the Black not single mother, the Black never married mother percentage is so high. And so if we take a look at the numbers, let's see, so we can see the numbers. 15 to 44%. So never married mothers, you see the numbers here. This is for Black alone, right? You see 2.2 million, 2.4 million, 2.5, 2.55 million, 2.56 million, 2.7 million. Then it dips back down. But you're seeing just a very steady rise in the number of, one, women that are having children, but two, the women that are never getting married. And so when I thought about that, I thought maybe it's possible that this movie is and there are plenty of people talking on the internet about the movie is marketing, or it's unfortunate that T'Challa's not in the movie and we're upset about it, or even with the Woman King, and it's not the type of movie that I'm excited to see. But it would appear to me, if I'm just having just shooting, I don't want to call it conspiracy theory, but if I look at those numbers, it almost seems like these movies are, I don't want to say a pep talk or a pep rally, but it's clearly marketing to women that it's like a Superman movie for single, never married women. And so you see these movies where, I haven't seen either of the movies, but from what I've seen, most of the movies are basically, women that are just defeating men. They're kicking them all over the place. They're throwing them around. They're defeating them easily. And when I look at these numbers, it's kind of like a superhero movie for women that are never going to be married, that women that are never going to have male protection or male provisioning. And as much as that might sound like a conspiracy theory, when I look at numbers like these, and you can see that there's going to be a great number of 44%. So again, so I want to make sure that you can see this number so you can understand it. So these numbers all start here with the total number of never married women. So the first number on the top is, these are women that have never been married. So when you look at this, these are women that have never been married, all of them, mothers and not mothers. And you see these numbers are all increasing, women never getting married. But when you see the percentage of never married mothers that are having children, and you see that number, I'm guessing that this movie is marketing directly to this demographic. And so for the young Black men who say, where are the male figures in these movies? I think that is immaterial to the marketing of the movie. I think the movies are made to market to this demographic. And it doesn't this is not really about people's opinions. This is data from the census, and this data suggests that the future of at least the American demographic is going to be heavily single mother, heavily single women or single people, and you're gonna see a lot of people that just never get married. And how do you market the people that never get married? It's this. It's strong, independent. It's magical. We can build Wakanda even though we lost T'Challa. It's Woman King. And I don't think that it is any I don't think it's any coincidence that these two movies are released 2.5, 3 months apart. But with that, I'm going to sign off here. Just some food for thought, taking a look at some numbers and thinking about what I saw and kind of the reaction, and maybe the reaction might be what it is, but maybe instead of the reaction, maybe it's more about just the new demographic of, there are going to be more families that are just not going to be traditional. And so we're going to have more Women Kings, and we're going to have more Wakanda Forevers. And I think that is a new focused on demographic that people are looking at, and it has to be acknowledged so that when we're seeing certain products being released, they're marketing to that demographic. Anyways, that's enough for this one. I'll talk to you guys on the next one.